Obi-Wan's first year as a Padawan ends with brokering peace for the royal families of the Rutanians and their subspecies of Senali. In the following year, at age 14, Obi-Wan is introduced by Qui-Gon to the senior Jedi's Coruscant contact, Didi Odo, owner of Didi's Cafe. Sarusian bounty hunter Ona Nubis is on the hunt for Didi, who asks his good friend Qui-Gon for protection. While bounty hunters can be officially licensed for legal work in the Republic and may cooperate with official authorities like the Jedi, Nobis operates as a private contractor, unbothered by challenging Jedi like Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. The Jedi discover Didi's daughter, Astri, came into possession of a stolen datapad brought by one of Didi's debtors, Petty Thief Fly. Astri planned to use information provided by Fly to barter business for the cafe with wealthy senators, but she unintentionally received the datapad encrypted with files implicating respected scientist Jenna Zan Arbor in immoral, illegal experiments. Although the Jedi do their part to keep the Odos safe, Qui-Gon is incapacitated and captured by Nobis. Zan Arbor happily subjects him to various tests to harness the illustrious power of the Force. After genuine breakthroughs in science and legitimate humanitarian work that earned her respected accolades and galactic fame, Jenna Zan Arbor confesses to Qui-Gon how she eventually began engineering the outbreaks of deadly viruses. In order to sell her carefully crafted cures for them, her new racket funded her private research on the Force, crossing lines she never would have been allowed to if she pursued the topic through normal channels. She injects one of her custom viruses in another hostage, Jedi Master Nur Raya, to keep Qui-Gon compliant, but Astri Odo is able to help Obi-Wan, and his fellow Jedi Adi Galli and Siri Tachi launch a raid on Zan Arbor's lair. After Qui-Gon and Nur are rescued, the Jedi pursue Jenna Zan Arbor in the midst of another plot on Belascow. Tensions persist between Siri and Obi-Wan. Siri's overconfidence in her own skills causing her to underestimate Obi-Wan's capability, but her attitude is tempered in due time. Teamwork allows the Padawans to defeat Ona Nubis in combat. The bounty hunter ultimately dies thanks to a vital strike from Adi Gallia. Meanwhile, Jenna Zan Arbor and her surviving accomplices are arrested, soon confined to a prison world, though this would not be the last time Obi-Wan's loved ones will be forced to brave the mad scientist's evil experiments. At age 16, Obi-Wan observes his master Qui-Gon be stricken by visions of danger for his close friend, Jedi Master Tal. Tal arrives on New Upsilon to alleviate the civil and political strife breaking out between the social classes, the civilized, and the workers. More aware of his feelings for her than ever, Qui-Gon professes his love for Tal, and she reciprocates his confession. Obi-Wan is initially ignorant to Qui-Gon's blooming romance, but after Tal is betrayed by former allies on New Upsilon, Obi-Wan watches the past repeat itself. Instead of himself and Cersei, it is Qui-Gon who holds onto a critically injured Tal as she dies. Obi-Wan was filled by despair and sorrow when he parted with Cersei, and he now watches Qui-Gon step closely toward the dark side, the Jedi Master struggling to find the line between justice for Tal and vengeance for his broken heart. The death of Tal and the escalating instability of New Upsilon is enough for Mace Windu, accompanied by Tal's Padawan Bant Irin, to personally involve himself in the crisis, and before the darkness preying on Qui-Gon's soul cost the Jedi Order 2 valuable friends. Wanting to honor Tal's memory and stay true to his beliefs as a Jedi, Qui-Gon resists the temptation to murder Tal's killer in cold blood. The parties at fault for New Upsilon's tragedies face justice, and Qui-Gon vows to never let himself slip so near the edge of darkness ever again. Qui-Gon remains at the Jedi Temple for months to mourn Tal, declining from taking active missions off-world. Obi-Wan supports his master as best he can, wanting to be present when Qui-Gon opens up to his apprentice. Indeed, the pair's next assignments against the Kobro crime family, and in resolving the Forzit Freely's revolution, enables Qui-Gon to confidently resume his teaching duties. Despite the losses they suffered throughout their partnership, they still had each other, and the duty to continue living in service of the Force. A year later, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are matched once again with Adi Gallia and Siri Tachi, this time to protect 10-year-old Tekwu's Taliesin Fry and his parents. The boy is expected to serve as a vital witness, testifying on a major assassination plot targeting several planetary leaders. Bounty hunters doubling as assassins, hired by the corporate alliance, actively pursue the Fry family and battle their Jedi protectors. The starship of bounty hunter Magus is commandeered by Obi-Wan and Siri to expedite Talison's delivery to Coruscant, but they discover an anti-theft measure rigged to self-destruct the stolen ship once it exits hyperspace. For 5 years, the Padawans have been traveling across the galaxy, learning the values of peace, honor, and strength as Jedi, to triumph over the evils of anger, hate, and fear. They haven't always worked together, but when they do, Obi-Wan and Siri learn to trust one another a little more each time, supporting their respective journeys to do good in the universe. Now, faced with certain death, the Padawans confess their mutual love for each other, finally admitting their true feelings, left unspoken for too long. As expected of the renowned Jedi Knights they will later become, the two Padawans are able to overcome Magus's doomed ship and successfully bring Taliesin to safety. Contrary to what their future reputations may imply, however, young Obi-Wan and Siri decide to pursue a relationship, doing so in secret so that they can continue serving as Jedi, in spite of the Order's stigma against romantic ties. They even conspire to one day join the Jedi Council and enact changes to openly permit emotionally intimate relationships like theirs, as was allowed during ancient eras of history. Qui-Gon easily catches on to his apprentice's true feelings, and warns him how unlikely their generation of Jedi will be willing to follow such radical changes. Master Yoda, and Yoda alone, is informed by Qui-Gon of Obi-Wan's love. In a private meeting with Obi-Wan, Yoda reiterates the Jedi Order will not budge on their decrees on personal sacrifice in the name of maintaining their duties to the Force. In essence, Qui-Gon and Yoda believe the Padawans have the potential to be extraordinary Jedi, but they will not be allowed to be Jedi if they remain together. They can either step away from the Order and learn to live outside of their rules, or they can learn to move on from their passions and reaffirm their loyalties as Jedi first and foremost. There exist separate Jedi factions and philosophies on the Force, outside of the Jedi Order, like splinter group Altisian Jedi, galaxy-trotting Shapers of Kro Var, or the well-intentioned Vigilantes, Wardens of the Sky, which the Padawans could have theoretically joined to honor their love and their connection to the Force. But for as much passion Siri and Obi-Wan shared in each other, Obi-Wan's perception of life as a former Jedi may have been marred by his experiences with the Dark Jedi Xanatos, the self-serving criminal Lorian Nod, and the tragedies Obi-Wan already suffered during his first desertion, seeing Cersei die, and the planetary war nearly reignite tenfold. In the end, Obi-Wan and Siri agree to end their relationship, and live as Jedi of their time are expected to. Although heartbroken, they do learn to settle their conflicted feelings, develop new friendships, and their own roles as respected teachers, and serve as exemplary Jedi, looked on with admiration for generations to come.